Baba Booey.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GioMoShow, 88.3 FM, WXOU. I'm Giovanni Mosheri, your host of the GioMoShow and sports media director at WXOU. And it's time for football therapy. Yeah! It is time to give you what you need. And it is time to talk about the NFL. And the Lions didn't play this week. Obviously, they have a bye week. They came off a big win on Monday Night Football against the Raiders. And then they get to sit back and relax and kind of visit family and get their thoughts together and kind of get that great refresher that they need over the bye week. And that means that the rest of us got to watch some of the other teams in the NFL. And I'm going to kind of breeze through, kind of give you a synopsis of what happened in Week 9 in the NFL. So some of the headlines that immediately jump out to me is... Did you watch the Seahawks-Ravens game? Ooh-wee. The Seahawks got dumped on by the Ravens, just like we did. So I don't feel as bad about it anymore. The Ravens will just do this to any NFC team. Because why would we need to give the Ravens more than 1 week of preparation? The rest of the NFL, they got to keep a little bit of a book. They got to kind of keep tabs on Lamar Jackson and that unique offense and that unique team. Not even just the offense, but the defense, man. Wow. That defense is reminiscent of defenses in the past of the Ravens. Some of that Ray Lewis stuff, some of that Ed Reed stuff, some of that Terrell Suggs stuff. That defense is really good, too. And they're just a really good team. And with the... What was the final score of it? It was 37-3.
What?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That's the one I was looking for. So I don't feel as bad about the loss that we had to the Ravens because from the looks of it, that's just going to happen. And that's just what the Ravens are going to do. And that's what's going to happen if you don't prepare adequately for one of the more unique teams in the NFL. So, in addition to that, as far as the headlines go, the Frankfurt, Germany game, the Chiefs against the Dolphins, what was supposed to be a Chiefs game, and obviously it's not, they're in Frankfurt, Germany, but that game was close. That game was a little bit back and forth, but I can't stand the Chiefs, dude. Their offense stinks. They are not who they usually are. They don't have anybody to throw to, and all it is Mahomes and Kelsey and Taylor Swift. Oh my God, I can't stand that stuff.
What?
Yeah, I don't care, man. And it's definitely died down a little bit. And there's more people like me that are getting sick of it, vocally getting sick of it. So it's not as prominent anymore. Yes, that's true. But it's the offense that stinks, and they're a defensive team now. That's what they are. Their defense is good, and that's okay. And it was good enough to stop the white hot Miami Dolphins team, a team who is officially on fraud watch, a team that will kick the crap out of crap teams. But then the crap is kicked out of them against good teams. So, it just, is that who they are? I mean, they're just going to have to prove it otherwise. And, I was hearing some people talk about it like, yeah, they're frauds. They can't beat good teams, and that's what you're going to have to do in the playoffs if you're going to be there. But if they happen to start learning how to do that in the playoffs, then whatever, right? So, the Dolphins are just weird. I want them to be good because they're just a sweet team. They're so much fun to watch, and it's and their defense is solid. Their defense is all right. They got some of the best corners in the game. Xavier Howard. They got now Jalen Ramsey back, and I can't remember his name. Christian Williams, I think something Williams. That hilarious D tackle that they have. I love that. I love the Dolphins, man. Mike McDaniel's obviously hilarious. I love his charisma. I love his story. I love how he put 70 on the team that he loved growing up, but they didn't love him. So I just wish they were better, man. But they're not. They're on fraud watch. Moving on to the rest of the headlines in the NFL. Josh Dobbs is signed to the Vikings, and within days comes out with his first win, a commanding win, a win that he sufficiently participated and led the team in with multiple touchdowns, and the astronaut went to the moon.
Well done!
He's got a great story. He's been everywhere. He is a journeyman's career compacted and condensed into a single season. He's been on so many teams this past year. The Browns twice. He was in Arizona. He was at the Lions, apparently, undocumented. Not really documented, but he's just been everywhere, tossed around, but he keeps a good attitude about it, and it's a great story. You can't not root for the guy, and I like what he's doing. However, it's the Vikings. They're now the 7th seed in the NFC. And an NFC that's not as... Well, I kind of go back and forth on whether the NFC is weak or not, but I feel like it's kind of evened out with the AFC a little bit because the AFC is stacked and loaded, but some of the teams are just kind of not meeting the expectations that everyone thought. At least to the eye test, at least as a whole for the conference. But anyway, I digress. But the Vikings are the 7th seed now, and they're 5-4, and they're on a 4-game win streak. And I'm not worried about them taking the division, but I'm more worried than I was before. A 1 out of 10 is more than a 0 out of 10. So they're climbing up a little bit, and as it stands right now, the Lions are the 2 seed, and they would play the Vikings at home as their 7th seed. So part of me would be kind of fine with it because we just kind of kick the crap out of the little brother in the division at home to kind of keep the momentum going. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I kind of switch gears with a different topic here, but I saw a tweet go out and it posed the question. I believe it was, I don't know who asked it actually, but either way, I saw it on Twitter, and the question was, would you rather be the 1 seed with the bye week, or would you rather be the 2 seed and keep the momentum and keep the routine going? And I thought about it, and I would say that I kind of like having the 2 seed because the NFL and the season is such a routine. It's such a constructed and structured routine that I can imagine that having a week off like that would kind of mess up the mojo a bit. Now, it's the home field advantage thing as well, so you kind of have that thrown into there. But for me, I kind of would rather have the 2nd seed just because it's easy to continue a routine than it is to stop and start again. Because humans are habitual creatures. We know that. And, if you go to the gym every day, it's a lot easier to keep going than it is to stop for a week and then have to rebuild and start again. Me personally, I would prefer consistency. So maybe I would like to do the 2nd seed thing, but I would like home field as well. So there's a balance to it. I would still take the 2 seed. Not that I don't want the Lions to get the 1st seed. I want them to get the 1st seed. They have a path to get the 1st seed. And, to say you're the best is sweet too. So either way, just get top 2, Lions. Come on now. And scrolling through some of the rest of the headlines that are going around, just kind of stuff I was generally hearing. The Falcons stink. Wow. What? I don't know what's going on with them. They started off 2-1. Then they faced the Lions and got guillotined. And it just stink, dude. Oh, yeah. They don't use Bijan. They don't use Kyle Poops. I can't say that on air, but they don't use Kyle Pitts. And I don't understand it. Coach Arthur Smith had to shave his mustache, I would imagine, out of shame.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Because this guy stinks. And the Falcons are just weird. And they took too long to bench their quarterback and to send in the new one that they got on the during the off season. And they're 4-5 right now. Yes, they still technically have a shot at the division, but that's because the division is also NFC South, man. Yeah. Some of the other headlines was the what else is happening? I'm scrolling through here. Jim Irsay, after the Colts win against the Panthers, Jim Irsay was probably coked out of his mind, dancing in the locker room, and everyone it was a combination of like, oh, this is super hype to this is weird and kind of funny. So I saw the mixed feelings on everyone's faces in the locker room, and that was kind of cool too. Scrolling farther down to the primetime games, we had Eagles and Cowboys. That game's always fun. I love the clip, and Jason Kelce mentioned what he was doing, but they had like in a commercial transition, like they had a panned shot of Jason Kelce, like mouth completely open, just screaming into the face of his opposing D tackle. Just like, if you were to draw a cartoon character screaming, that's what he was doing. Like holding him to his face, screaming at him. It was later revealed that he was laughing in his face. That is so funny to me. I love that. I absolutely love that. But the Cowboys, dude, the Eagles were begging you to win that game. The last drive, you had 45 seconds. Eagles have like 3 penalties in a row, and you're at the 8 or the 6 yard line. You're within the 10, and
You blew it!
yeah, dude. They got some penalties of their own. They got delay of games. And it's like, what are you doing? Dude, I always root for the underdog, and the Eagles being the 1 seed right now. Yeah, I'd like the Cowboys to kind of cut into that. But it's just, dude, there was a path for you to shut everybody up. Oops. Voice broke. But there was a path for you to silence the haters a little bit. And you didn't. Because...
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Moving on. Bengals and Bills was a good game. Controversial take. I don't care about Damar Hamlin anymore. It's in terms of a story, in terms of airtime, and because obviously, let's be serious here for a second. It was a near tragedy what happened last time these two teams faced in the regular season. It caused unique situations, and the medical staff and everybody followed everything they were supposed to do to a T, and it saved the man's life. It's a great story. But the story is over. He's back. He's still playing. He's not starting, and he wasn't a superstar to where he deserves the coverage because of his play. He is getting all the coverage because of what happened. And that was last season, man. Get him off the TV. Let him move on. And just, let it be, man. It already happened. So, that was obviously the story that they did over and over again. But the Bengals have dug themselves out of a grave.
Well done!
They're 5-3 now, and they're as threatening as they usually are. And then Chargers and Jets. Yeah. Jets are terrible. Chargers beat a bad team, I would say, and I'm not worried about that coming into the game against the Lions. I'm going to give that a couple of minutes here, and, man, it looks like I might be running out of time for the picks, and I'll do what I did a couple of weeks ago. So, you know what? I don't believe, we're making a decision. We're making producing decisions here live here at WXOU, but pretty sure that there's nobody after me in terms of the show, so I'm just going to continue and go a little bit over time here and give you the right time, give you the proper time that should be given to the NFL picks for Week 10 and some coverage on what my thoughts are on the Chargers against the Lions game coming up this week. So we're going to keep it rolling here as long as it takes here on the GioMoShow. And I just hope there's nobody behind me. If there is and you're in the studio, knock on the door. But I'm just going to keep going. So, Chargers and Jets, I'm not scared. That's not true. I'm a little bit scared. So, Keenan Allen has surpassed 10,000 yards. That's awesome. That's just straight up awesome. And let me get the box score up from that last game, actually. Yeah, so Keenan Allen, 8 receptions, 77 yards, a long of 23. And the thing is, for the Chargers and the matchup against the Lions, so Lions are traveling to Los Angeles. Now, is the trip itself worth noting? Maybe. You know, the time zone thing, but I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it's something that the Lions should be able to overcome and not make an excuse out of. I'm not going to make an excuse out of it. But what I will, and what is worrying me a little bit about this game, is that Chargers are talented. Very, very talented. And to describe their level of talent, I will do what all radio hosts do, is to just list names and not elaborate. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James, and Justin Herbert. Well, that's it. That's the whole segment. Of course not. But that's usually how people will do it. It's like, oh, argument with this team. Well, player. And that's it. That's where they stop. I'm putting all that together and to elaborate on it is that the team has the capability, has the peak, has the ceiling of complete destruction. They have some of the best talent in the league. Maybe are they a little bit top heavy? Maybe. But I don't see it that way. Can they run the ball? Absolutely not. That's not what they do. Their running back is better equipped and is more suited to being a what I call a thick receiver. Austin Eckler catches a lot of balls a game. That's what he's good at. So for the Chargers, like, oh, they can't run the clock. Yes, it's an issue. And it's something that has, came back to bite them in the playoffs, where they let the Jacksonville Jaguars come back from a huge lead. Yeah, anyway. But point is yeah, they're not going to be able to kind of control the clock like we can as the Lions, but they're still super, super talented. They got receivers that could catch just about anything and a quarterback that could throw just about anything. And they got defenders that they got 2 guys on each end that can really pinch and pincer you in the pocket. And they got some other studs on the team as well. So their capability is what scares me. But I saw a bunch of inspirational, like, alpha male, sigma male TikToks of Mike Tomlin saying, it's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. It's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. I like that. That's a great quote in and of itself. And he elaborates and he says, like, I know a lot of people that are capable. I know fewer people that are willing. So this could be that kind of case. The Chargers have the capability for destruction, but do they have the will to do it? Will their coach botch this one too? Will the fact that they can't really control the clock well come back to bite them against a team that can control the clock in the Lions? So that's what I'm kind of thinking of with this matchup. It's interesting. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm expecting the Lions to win. I'm predicting the Lions are going to win. But this is one of the tougher teams that you're going to be facing for the rest of the schedule. It's the Chargers. It's maybe Minnesota at the end and the Cowboys. Those are the toughest games that you have on the schedule. The rest are super favorites, we'll say, for the Lions. So this game is going to be one of the few opportunities that you have to not be the Dolphins, to not be the team of who have you really beaten. Lions are going to have to make a statement in Los Angeles this weekend. I believe they can. There's rumors about David Montgomery coming back. There's whispers and there's thoughts about it. That would be fantastic. I would love to have him back. And I don't buy the whole Jahmyr Gibbs deserves more touches thing when Montgomery comes back. Because, he has, Jahmyr Gibbs has proven to be worth his draft pick, or at least ability and capability wise. He's proven to be what is advertised. So when you have the main guy, the bell cow, the run between the tackles, the tough guy, the ooh rah rah kind of guy come back in David Montgomery, then that just means you have two really good running backs. It doesn't mean that you have to focus on one guy because he did something more recently. No. You have two good options, and you use them that ends in the best result. It's not that complicated. It's not you have to prove that he was worth the 12th pick by using him. No. You have the luxury of two fantastic different styled running backs. So, use them accordingly. That's it. And you got a great offensive coordinator manning the show. So let's just see what happens. We'll see who... Is it going to be a Montgomery game or is it going to be a Gibbs game? We'll see. We have the option of both. So I just want people to be more appreciative of what we have instead of argumentative within what we have. So that's where I'm at with that. I think it's going to be a great game. I expect the Lions to win and advance to 7-2. Right? 7-2 would be the record, right? Hold up. Let me make sure I'm doing math. Let's go math. Yep, 7-2 would be after a win at Los Angeles.